We are having people dumped here. If you think that you're going to drive these people out, you're wrong. They're just going to keep getting dumped here. They have nowhere to go past Cabazon. This is going to be an ongoing problem for a long time until our nation deals with homelessness. I have nothing against SWAG, and I hope that if they do come, we are able to work with them.
My name is Aaron. This is Monica, and this is David.
When you're participating in trespassing, when you have drugs on you, paraphernalia, and you're doing all these things out in the open, and our organization's absolutely not okay with that. We're working with our law enforcement and code enforcement partners to help raise rock bottom, because their rock bottom's death, and so we have to help inspire somebody to get help. That means that we have to have a 3 or 4 hour intervention with somebody to help inspire and encourage them to get help right there and then. That's what we're going to do. If you're telling us that you don't need help, you need it more. And we're going to spend that time, and that's where we got to lean on our law enforcement and code enforcement partners to help raise rock bottom and get them to the point where they're tired of going to jail.
If we don't get them into some kind of treatment today, they are going to die.
Have severe substance use. They're not doing that to have fun. They're self-medicating, debilitating anxiety and depression. That's what we see most often. We tried the housing first model. Why would we reward bad behavior and say, you're out there running amok on the streets and we're going to give you a free apartment for a year or indefinitely? When
we're having interventions with people, it's super important for us to not focus too much on the past, but really focus on what their future looks like. Sometimes our law enforcement partners will say, okay, if you really want help, if you want to go to treatment right now, you can go with SWAG or you're going to jail.
Where we start is, again, with law enforcement. The nature of people who are out on the streets, sleeping on the sidewalk, that's deviant behavior, and it takes that rock bottom law enforcement threat. Some people that are out here on the streets absolutely will refuse till they die. We have those individuals, and walking somebody through the conservator process, takes months. We're out here. We feel called by God to reach people where they're at and bring them out of their darkness. We're extremely different from what was happening. When you provide an addict who's already refusing the help they really need, anything other than that, especially some type of housing opportunity, that's what we are not housing first. 9 out of 10 people that we serve after treatment, they're reunited with family. Everyone else is offering housing, and we're saying, sorry, we don't have housing for you, but we have changed your life around, not just a temporary fix.
Who do you refer them to?
Almost always the county system of care. And we're dealing with somebody who's severely addicted, and you have SWAG who's saying, let's change your life in the proper order. And another organization is saying, well, you know what? You deserve an apartment. Let's get you an apartment, and you can think about it. But it's not as effective as just, ripping the Band-Aid off. We'll fit in or we won't fit in. Very few will go after those individuals that are causing chaos. We don't force anybody to do anything they wouldn't want to do, or anything that's unethical or that we wouldn't do for our own family members.
If Faith in Action is doing their work and SWAG Group says, well, that's not in line with what we're doing, what do we do with that? What they're doing is they're going to go out and talk to people, and they're going to get people in treatment. That's exactly what we have been doing through our code enforcement.
These are qualified individuals who are social workers. We don't necessarily have that in place currently.
Let's see what they can do.
I really hope for SWAG to change and make banning better.
It's not as simple as just saying work together. But we are absolutely on board with doing that. It just has to be a real consideration. We enter and work in the police station. That requires people being background checked, fingerprinted. But I absolutely believe God has called us to work together. I'm a Christian. Everybody here on our team are believers. We're called to be sly as a serpent and gentle as a dove. And if we see addiction, we're not going to just hug somebody and cry with them and hope they change. We're going to speak truth into them.
We literally are that crazy group that sits with them, that gets to know them, and try to inspire them for a better life.
We don't have the number of officers, we don't have the number of code enforcement that you would need to be fully effective.
We get people through the county in treatment same day, all the time.
Faith in Action doesn't do outreach. Opportunity Village did have their chat team, not so great results.
We're going to continue spending money. It's a matter of where do you want to put that.
So we do not have money to go towards Opportunity Village. We're not stopping anyone from continuing their very, very good work. I'm also a Christian. I think it's a spiritual battle in a lot of ways. When they turn their life over to Christ, they get off drugs, and immediately they have no more desire for it. I'm really looking forward to working with you. Direct staff to go ahead and work on negotiating a contract with SWAG.